It's October 10th, 2013, and really, truly, honestly, this is the last wood chip collection for this season. We were driving along north of Baldwin, Wisconsin. There was a lot of road repair going on, and we noticed that a crew had come in and removed probably 75 to 100 conifers that were probably 6 to 12 inches in diameter at breast height. It looked like a really good place to get some wood chips. I stopped there a month or two ago and looked around, and I discovered that the wood chips were mostly really fine stuff. They had decided shortly after they started to quit chipping whole trees and leave the logs, which they did, and they're still there. That was a couple months ago. Now it's October 10th, and I decided to make one more wood chip run for the season. So I went up there and I started digging up wood chips, and realized that the reason I hadn't rushed back there is that most of what they had chipped was really, really fine stuff. So I went marching around there, and I realized, which is one of the learnings for the day, that you can kind of tell how good wood chips are by stepping on them. If you sink in, don't bother. If they're somewhat firm, then you can start digging in. So what happened was, I found one pile where they had apparently chipped a couple of whole trees, or at least larger branches, and then somebody must have said, wait a minute, we're not going to do that anymore, just save all the logs. So let's take a look. Here are what I'd consider pretty good chips. Now we'll take a look at the other stuff, which is really probably what 90% of what they had chipped was. Okay, this is the stuff that was the fine material, and I hope you can see the difference. It's just loaded with tiny little twigs, pine needles, and so on. And the point, and that's bad enough, and some longs and so on, skinny little things, but there are hardly any what I would call usable chips in here. So there's the deal. Kind of in summary, there are 26 pails here. It's 70 degrees today, and I've got them spread out about as thin as I can to kind of dry them. The pile that I did get the best chips out of was probably 6 or 8 inches deep, so some of the chips were pretty wet, so it's going to take some drying. I have heard that water wetness is a lot easier to dry up than the resin wetness. So anyway, that's the pile for this season. I'm hoping that I can get at least one overnight and another good day to dry these babies before I sort them, because they'll certainly run through the chipper, or the sorting machine, the rotary sorting machine, a lot easier that way. And I'll come out here in another couple hours and I'll rake them to try to expose as much of the damp material as I can. After sorting these 26 pails of chips by machine, I took about 15 minutes to hand sort the longs from the 2 big chips so that I can use them too. I ended up with 6 pails of the best keepers and 5.5 pails of the 2 big chips, for a total of 11.5 pails, or about a 44% yield.